Two harvests of ginger, one land, same hands, but the results are from different planets. One grew thin and pale, barely worth his time. The other turned out to be thick, golden, heavy, from which it is impossible to take your eyes off. The difference was not in luck, not in the weather, not in expensive fertilizers. It was all down to three solutions that most gardeners have never heard of. You planted ginger, watered it for months, and dug up measly roots the size of a coin. A small voice whispered to you, "Perhaps I just don't have a talent for plants." This voice lied because the failure began long before landing. Ginger from a regular store is chemically programmed to never germinate. By the end of this video, you will know all three secrets and will never plant ginger incorrectly again. Most ginger failures happen not in the ground, but in the store where you buy it. Regular store-bought ginger is treated with chemical growth inhibitors, substances that intentionally block germination. Supermarkets use these compounds to keep rhizomes on shelves for months, looking fresh and not sprouting. When you bring this ginger home and plant it, the chemicals continue to work in the soil. The rhizome receives water, heat, nutrients, but remains biologically blocked at the cellular level. You wait weeks, water, test the soil, and nothing happens because the plant is chemically programmed to sleep. In the 1980s, researchers at the University of Hawaii discovered that growth inhibitors could remain active in plant tissue for up to 6 months after treatment. This means that even 6 months after purchase, your ginger may carry chemical instructions not to germinate. The only reliable solution is organic ginger, certified free of synthetic growth inhibitors. When choosing, choose rhizomes that feel heavy and dense in your hand, because weight represents stored moisture and energy. Light ginger is already dehydrated and weakened even before planting. Even the best organic ginger needs a proper awakening before planting. This step is practiced by farmers in Kerala, India, where ginger has been grown for more than 3,000 years, but most home gardeners have never heard of it. Prepare a bath of warm water at room temperature with 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar for every liter of water. Why exactly does apple cider vinegar work so effectively? Ginger evolved in tropical rainforests, where rainwater is naturally slightly acidic due to dissolved organic compounds. Low acidity sends a biological signal to the rhizome, which it recognizes at the cellular level as a wake-up call. Immerse the rhizomes in this bath for 10 to 14 hours, preferably overnight. While they are soaking, metabolic processes in dormant tissues are reactivated. Growth buds swell, cell membranes restore elasticity, and carbohydrates accumulated in the rhizome begin to be converted into energy for future shoots. After soaking, place the rhizomes on a clean, dry surface in a warm, ventilated place. Now the process of callus formation begins, covering all cuts and damage with a dry, leathery film. This natural shell protects the rhizome from bacterial infection, which can destroy the plant even before the first shoots appear. Ginger does not grow downwards, but to the sides, spreading new rhizomes horizontally in the upper layers of the soil. Most gardeners choose deep, narrow pots, thinking that the roots need space downwards. But this is a fundamental mistake. The width of the container is 3 times more important than the depth, because every additional centimeter of horizontal space means more room for crop formation. Choose a container at least 35 to 40 centimeters wide with mandatory drainage holes. Research by the Indian Institute of Spice Research has shown that the correct container width can increase the weight of the crop by up to 300% compared to unsuitable containers. Without drainage, rhizomes inevitably rot from stagnant moisture. The soil mixture is based on the formula: 2 parts high-quality purchased soil, 1 part aged compost, and 1 part coarse perlite. Soil provides structure, compost creates a vibrant microbiological ecosystem, and perlite provides air pockets without which roots will suffocate. Fresh compost can burn tender roots, so use only completely rotted compost. Before filling the container, add a handful of phosphorus-rich bone meal to the mixture. Phosphorus is a mineral that the plant uses to build dense, heavy rhizomes underground. Without phosphorus, energy goes into the leaves and with it into your future harvest, which can be weighed in kilograms. Instinct tells you to plant deeper to be safe, but with ginger, this logic kills the harvest. Rhizomes belong to the surface layers of the soil, where in nature they develop under a thin layer of fallen leaves of the tropical forest. Planting deeper than 5 centimeters creates two deadly problems at the same time. The first problem is mechanical. Too thick a layer of soil above the rhizome makes it difficult for the shoots to break through to the light. The shoots spend all their accumulated energy fighting the weight of the soil and are exhausted even before reaching the surface. The second problem is biological. Deep layers of soil remain wet longer, creating anaerobic conditions that pathogenic fungi like Pythium love. Place the rhizomes at a depth of 3 to 5 centimeters with the growth buds facing upward at a distance of 15 to 20 centimeters from each other. What seems like wasted space now will be filled with new rhizomes by harvest time. Gently cover with soil mixture, pressing down lightly, but never compacting. Finish the planting with a 2-centimeter thick layer of mulch made from straw, dried leaves, or wood chips. This protective cover serves 3 functions. It retains moisture, stabilizes soil temperatures on cool nights, and protects shallowly planted rhizomes from drying out. Never skip mulching. It's the difference between a good harvest and a great one. The ideal soil moisture for ginger feels like a well-wrung-out sponge, wet to the touch but without standing water. Before each watering, test the soil with your finger at a depth of 2 centimeters. If it is still wet, wait a day. If it's dry, water slowly and evenly until water begins to flow out of the drainage holes at the bottom. Try the bottom watering technique. Place the container in a shallow pan of water for 20 to 30 minutes. The soil will absorb moisture from the bottom up through capillary action, keeping the surface relatively dry and training the roots to grow deeper. Research shows that plants with deep roots tolerate drought better and produce more resilient crops. Ginger naturally grows under the canopy of tropical forests, receiving soft morning light and protection from the hot midday sun. Place containers where they receive golden morning light and afternoon shade. The leaves themselves will tell you the right choice. Yellow edges and discolored spots mean an excess of light, and elongated thin stems mean a lack of it. Every 2 to 3 weeks during the growing season, feed the plants with a liquid fertilizer that is higher in phosphorus and potassium than nitrogen. Nitrogen builds leaves, phosphorus and potassium build rhizomes, and you grow rhizomes. The best top dressing is compost tea, steeped 24 hours in water and strained compost, which makes the soil more vibrant with each use. After 8 to 10 months, the leaves will begin to turn yellow on their own, and the stems will stretch back toward the soil. This is not a disease. It is a signal that the plant is transferring all the energy accumulated over the season back into the rhizomes. Phenological studies show that it is at this moment that carbohydrates massively flow from the above-ground part to the underground storage organs. Take your time digging until you see obvious wilting of most of the foliage. Each additional week in the soil after the leaves begin to die adds density and weight to your rhizomes. When you decide to harvest, dig carefully from the outer edges of the container towards the center so as not to damage the overgrown rhizome system. As the soil crumbles from your hands, you'll see the result of good decisions. Thick, golden rhizomes, some the size of your palm, grown from one small piece, planted with an understanding of plant biology. The best ginger farms in India achieve yields of over 20 tons per hectare. Now you understand the principles that make such results possible. 3 decisions made all the difference: choosing the right starting material, waking up before planting, and creating conditions that mimic the natural habitat. Now you know the secret that turns failure into abundance, and you will never again plant ginger like everyone else.